Well, hello again. I'm back. It's been a little more than 2 weeks, but that's sooner than usual. How are you all doing? I have bees again on my property, so I'm happy. Gives me something to go look at every day when I get stir crazy and need to get away from my lovely children and husband. We're used to being around each other all the time, but even before, with both my husband and I working from home, I should stop. I should introduce myself. Okay, we're gonna start this all over again. Hey everybody! My name is Beth Twist, and this is my YouTube channel about cross-stitch. I am a cross-stitch designer, and my business name is Heartstring Samplery. And I am sitting on my back deck right now, next to this lovely evergreen clematis. And there's a kitty at my feet, and I hear honeybees buzzing, and my old barn is behind me. All the happy things, because I want to bring you lots of happy things today. This is probably not going to be a very long addition to my FlossTube channel, but I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things specifically. And primarily, I wanted to talk to you about my Etsy shop and why it hasn't been open and what it's going to look like when I open it. So, we all know that the times we're living in are not normal. In the past, my Etsy shop, I got my start selling directly retail before my designs were distributed, before they were carried in needlework stores, and that's not something I ever want to let go. I really like being able to sell directly to stitchers across the nation and now around the world, which is wonderful. And I've always been someone who printed charts and sold printed charts because that's my personal preference. I like the hard copy. I like to see the personality of the designer in how they package and put together their patterns. And it's just been part of what I do. But the thing that's different now is because of where I live, we live in a rural part of Oregon. Outside of Portland. I'm about an hour's drive from downtown Portland, so we're not super rural, but we do live out in the forest on property, and our driveway is really long, and we could have a mailbox at the end of our driveway if we wanted, but we live in a state where it rains 9 months out of the year, and getting to and from the mailbox, there's potential for water damage to letters, envelopes, you name it. Not only that, but because we can't see our mailbox from where we live, there are problems with mail being stolen out here, mailboxes being damaged. It's just something that we've never wanted to deal with. So for 20 years, we've just had a post office box in town. Even if we did have a mailbox, the mail carrier would never come all the way in our driveway to our house. So, I'm telling you this story because what that means in operating a home business that's primarily mail order is that anytime I need to mail packages, I have to get in my car and drive to the post office. Now, most of my envelopes and boxes now, within the last couple years, I've been able to start pre-labeling them with postage paid and all of that. So really most of them I'm just dropping off in, but I have to go into the post office. Right now, the state of Oregon is a shelter-in-place state, and that means we are only supposed to go out for the essential things. This does include the post office. It also includes the UPS store, which is where I do all of my bulk printing. My local print shop is still open. He's limiting his hours, but he's still open. So I could theoretically continue to do business the way I have. It would just greatly increase my interaction with other people, and I personally don't feel like it's necessary. My husband is continuing to work from home, so we have income. I could completely shutter everything and not work, and we would be okay. But I don't want to do that. So I've kept my Etsy shop closed for the month of April in the aftermath of market, all of the new releases, and I've been continuing to ship to shops and the distributor. And by the way, that will continue because I can manage that in 1 trip a week to the post office, sometimes 2, depending on the volume of orders. It's all of the individual Etsy sales that become more difficult. So I've been putting a lot of thought into what I wanted to do. Did you hear that? That was a woodpecker. I love woodpeckers. And what I have decided is that I am going to do something I've wanted to do for a long time, and that is updating all of my charts. And what updating means is some of the charts, the format I've been printing them in, are fantastic. I'm happy with the size of the chart. I'm happy with every aspect of it. Some of them I've been printing for so long that back when I originally formulated the chart, my standards were a little different. And maybe the graph itself is smaller than my aging eyes can now read easily. I could read them fine back then, and so I didn't see any reason to make the chart bigger than it was. But I'm now understanding aging eyes. So Woody Woodpecker. Seriously, that's a pileated woodpecker, which is what the cartoon character Woody Woodpecker was designed after. They've got the big red head with the mohawk. They're pretty cool. They're really big too. I can't see him right now, but I can sure hear him. Or her. Could be a girl. Anyway, so I've been wanting to, and I haven't had time because honestly, running that Etsy shop is almost a full-time job. And it's been really nice for the last month to focus on wholesale and distributor orders and slowly start working my way to a place where I have time to, revamp my charts, convert them all to PDFs, and it feels really good to be able to get to those things that I just have not had time for. I was on the verge of trying to maybe rent some space in town and hire somebody to run my Etsy shop, but this whole quarantine has put that on hold indefinitely. None of us know what the economy is going to look like on the other side of this thing, and it could be that won't be viable anymore, or at least for the time being. So for now, I am slowly working my way through my entire catalog of charts, which is 200. I officially have 200 released designs, and what they're going to look like is something like this. So what I've done is I've created a template that's going to have a color image of the design on the front, and most of the rest of the chart will be black and white to go easy on your printers. These charts, this design will include all of the same information that you get in my printed designs. It's just formatted differently. So you'll get a cover page, and then you'll get the information. I always write in my charts because I'm always curious when I see a design, what inspired the designer to do this? And often there's no story included, and the curiosity always bothered me. So from the beginning, I've always had some sort of inspiration story that I include with my charts. So that information will be in there. Materials list, where to get the things that you need to stitch this design. Most of my charts already have a DMC conversion, and if they don't, I will also be working on getting those included in these PDFs. There will be the chart pages and then a back page. And the back page is the information that has your materials list. So you could slide it into a top-loading sheet protector and put it in a binder, and you've got your, your cover image, and then you've got, here's the materials needed. So this is what I'm working on. I'm putting in 2 to 8 hours a day converting charts until I get through all of them. When I open my Etsy shop, which by the way, I'm planning to open tomorrow. Today is April 6th. By the time this is uploaded, it will be the morning of April 7th, and I hope to have my Etsy shop live. So all of the listings in the Etsy shop are going to be instant downloads of PDFs in this format. And they're going to be listed at full price because I feel like that's fair. And what I'm going to do also is have a separate listing that basically is a placeholder. I think I called it something like, please send me a hard copy of the pattern when this is all over. And that listing is basically going to be something where if you ordered this as a PDF because you want to work on it, but you want an official printed copy of the chart, then you also purchase that extra listing for a quantity of 1. And that will put you in a queue in my system so that when the time comes that I feel comfortable with resuming daily trips to town for mailing patterns, or maybe I've accumulated 20 orders for printed patterns and I have time and I feel like I'm going to the post office anyway, I can get these in the mail, then I will do so. But it could be that I don't mail any of these patterns for a month. But what it does is it says, I also would like a printed copy of the pattern, please. And it holds you an order in my Etsy shop. So that's what I've been up to. I've charted 4 small antique samplers that I am preparing for a small samplers club. I'm not sure when I'm going to launch the club. I'm kind of waiting until I know that I'm going to be able to get all the supplies that I need. One of the major thread dyers is completely closed right now, and I don't know what the others are doing at this point. So until I know that I can get materials in, I'm not going to start that club, but I'm getting things ready, and I'm pretty excited about the first 4 antiques that I decided to chart for you. Let me know in the comments below if you are interested in signing up for a club. And I'm still formulating how I'm going to do it. I'm not sure if I'm going to set it up as a standard club where you're committed to all 4 designs. I might do it as an a la carte. I might do it as you have an option of chart only or full kits. I'm just still trying to figure that out. So that's something I've been doing. I've been stitching on models for some upcoming events that hopefully, one of them was moved from April to June, and I'm full steam ahead as if that is still going to happen. And if not, maybe it'll get postponed until later in the year, but I'm preparing for that. I have an event in July and one in September and one in October, and I'm really hoping they still happen. We could all use some fun gatherings at the end of all of this, couldn't we? I feel a little disjointed. I didn't make notes of what I was going to say to you. Oh, so one of the things I've realized is because I am doing converting my shop to PDFs is that my couple things. We'll start with this. My bottom line is going to be different because my expenses will be different. And so lower, most likely, because I won't be needing to buy the bags and pay for all of the printing and shipping and all of that. So the other part of the coin, the other side of the coin, is that I'm really, really concerned about all of our needlework shops. And they've had to close their doors, and many of them rely on foot traffic to keep them, pay their rent and keep the lights on. And so I started doing something, and that is every day, every morning for the month of April, I'm using the Tiny Decisions app, and I'm spinning the wheel, and a needlework shop comes up, and I post it in my Instagram stories. Now, Instagram stories are different than the main feed. If you're not familiar with stories, it's a feature on Instagram where you can post an image or a video and it only stays there for 24 hours. And maybe I should show you. Let me pull up my screen and see if I can show it to you. So up at the top of the page up here, these are stories. And if you were to click on it, here's my story, click on my face, then it shows various things that I have posted in the last 24 hours. You can also find that by going to a person's profile and clicking on their face image. So daily in my stories, you'll see a featured shop. Now, I've had a few people reach out to me and say, how come this shop isn't on your wheel? Or what about this shop? And what I've done is there are probably hundreds of wonderful shops across the country. And I don't want to put them all on the wheel. I would love to put all of them on the wheel. But I decided to put on the wheel shops that are on my automatic shipment list. These are shops that have said to me, Beth, I trust you, and whenever you come out with a new design, I want X number of copies, sight unseen. And that's a wonderful gift to me because it tells me that each time I have a new release, I already know that this list of shops are on my list to ship to, and they're going to have them, and their customers know that on a regular basis they're going to get the new heartstring samplery designs. And it really is a trust relationship because I do let them know what I'm releasing a few days ahead of time, but most of them just say, we like what you design and our customers like what you design, and we welcome you to just ship them to us and we will pay you. And so those shops are on my wheel. And then there's a few other shops, maybe half a dozen or so, that are not on my automatic list, but almost every month, and if not every month, then probably at least 6 times a year, they're coming directly to me and ordering. The alternative for shop owners is to go to the distributor to order my patterns, and I really don't have a problem with that. But I don't know who they are, and I don't know how often they're ordering my patterns, and I don't know if they have a big selection of my patterns or just a few. I don't know because I'm not shipping to them directly. So the shops on my wheel are shops that I know are consistently getting my patterns in, and so they're the ones I want to send you to. They're my favorites because they've chosen to trust me in that way. So I hope you understand that. There are a lot of shops, probably 3 times as many that are on the wheel, that do buy from me every year at market, and I interact with them, and wonderful shop owners, wonderful shops that I enjoy seeing every year. And so I know that once a year they're buying my patterns, but I just don't know the rest of the year whether they are or not. I hope that makes sense. So if you have any confusion about it, and if your local needlework shop, if you look at my wheel on Instagram and they're not on that list and you are curious as to why they don't buy directly from me, ask them. Can't hurt. I find that every year there at market there are half a dozen, 3 to 6, sometimes more shops that say, oh, you have an automatic? Oh, how come I've never put myself on that list? And it just takes, sometimes it takes a while for those relationships to be established. And that was an awfully long ramble. So, because my expenses I anticipate being lower this month, something that I am also doing personally is I'm doing a little stash enhancement myself. So, you know, I think day 2 I spun my local needlework shop, and so it was fun for me to not only tell Janine, hey, you're my featured shop of the day, but then say, would you mind sending me this? And I'm not placing big orders because my plan is to place a small order every day and support these shops that have supported me. So there will be some stash acquisition to show you in my next video, but I'm going to wait until it starts coming in the mail, so I have some fun stuff to show you. So really, the only haul I have to show you today, and this is basically the final thing that I have in my video, other than I will post just some lovely around the place videos at the end. Another thing I've been doing on Instagram for a couple weeks now is I'm posting daily 30-second videos that are nothing but a peaceful scene. Water in the bird bath with bird song in the background, or the chickens fluffing it fresh new grass, or ooh, there's a hummingbird right there. You heard it, didn't you? He was beautiful. It was an Anna's hummingbird. They have this bright fuchsia head that's just iridescent. There's the hummingbird again. Part of why I'm freezing out here is I know some of you are living in town and you're not able to get out into nature right now, and so I'm sharing my lovely nature with you. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, the 30 seconds. 30-second pause. So I'm going to put some of those at the end, and it'll probably end up being a 5-minute pause, but you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. But if you find yourself needing an escape on a daily basis, go to my Instagram and find I created a hashtag called 30-second pause, I think is what I called it, and you can find my videos, and I just encourage you to just listen to the sounds, look at whatever vision I have placed in front of your eyes, and just breathe deeply and just calm your thoughts, calm your heart, calm your mind, and just focus on something pretty. So, haul. I have this friend from middle school. I want to say 7th and 8th grade-ish. She lived for a very short time in our little rural town in Southern Oregon, and she and I just became the best of friends. There was just something, she was a kindred spirit. And I was so heartbroken when her family moved to California. And when I was 16 or 17, my very first airplane trip was to visit her, and I went and stayed with her family in California for a week or two, I don't remember how long. And having never been on an airplane and never been out of the Pacific Northwest, other than road trips, being in Southern California was so exotic. Palm trees and dolphins, and had a fantastic time. And we were pen pals, kind of, sort of. I don't think either of us were really that good about writing letters, but every once in a while we'd touch base with each other. And after I graduated high school, I went and lived in Mexico for a few months at a little orphanage, and it was a mission trip. And things sort of didn't work out there. I was supposed to be there for the whole school year, and it didn't work out. And so it was time for me to head home. And in the interim between Mexico and returning to Southern Oregon, I stayed with her family again for, I don't even remember, it was at least a month. And so we've had some periods of time together, but they've been really short. Anyway, lost track of her again after that. And it wasn't until probably 4 or 5 years ago when we reconnected on Instagram. So her name is Dana, and she has recently, within the last year, started a business where she is selling antiques and also items, farmhouse kind of items. Her eye for decor is impeccable, and I really enjoy her Instagram, and I've been thinking for a while I should order something from her just to say hey and support another small business owner. And I really felt convicted to do so last week or so. I don't know what her family's situation is, if they rely on her income or if it's just for fun, but I just felt like I needed to reach out and support her. So I did. I haven't used it yet, so it's got fold marks, but this linen tea towel, and it's got a shortcake recipe printed on it. It smells really good. The brand is Heirloomed. It's got a nice little twill tab on the back for hanging on your cupboard. Oh, it's got strawberry shortcake and strawberry shortcake on it. So I decided to order one of those for myself, and also a tote bag, because who doesn't need a tote bag? It's a nice heavy canvas. Farmers are heroes. So I went ahead and placed that order with her and went about my day. Well, she texted me and she was like, I was so happy when I saw your name pop up, and thank you. And we texted back and forth, and that was it. Well, my package showed up the other day, and it was like Christmas morning. So I got my towel, I got my bag, I got some yummy smelling French soap. I think it's strawberry scent. It smells so good. I think that it might be one of those soaps that you put in a drawer and just let it scent your undergarments or something and don't actually use it because it smells so good. I don't know. I'll probably use it. And there's some note cards, and these note cards are recycled or homemade, recycled paper, and they're embedded with seeds. And so you can send the card, and then the person on the other end can plant it in a flower bed and it will grow flowers. There were a few other things. I'm not going to show you everything just because, I don't know, you might think it's boring. But the thing that made me lose my... I squealed, okay? She sent me this sampler. So, hang on a second. I'm about to ready to hit the 30-minute mark and my camera's going to time out. Okay, so she was like, I don't know anything about it. I found it stuffed in a pewter pitcher when I was out antiquing, and I just had to get it. And when I placed the order, she was like, I am going to send this to Beth because she told me she thought I would give it a good home. And she was right. You all know that, right? So it's stitched. Oh, you want to see the back? Stitched on a rather coarse linen with wool threads, and it's very bleached. To me, it looks like it's been washed, and so it's kind of shrunk in a little bit, but It is just darling, and it's got some very traditional motifs. It's got alphabets, and it's by Janet H. Pratt, aged 11 years. I can't find a date on it, but you know that I will enjoy and treasure this. And this one will probably make its way into my small samplers club on the second go around. Anyway, it smells like that soap. I think this is a little bee down here. Here. Anyway. Good friends. I don't know when or if I will ever be in the same room with my dear old friend Dana. We we set our daughters up. Her daughter is a couple years older than mine, but based on what I know of our friendship and how easy it was for us to be friends when we were in middle school, and just some general information I know about where they live and what her daughter likes and is into, I kind of thought they would be good friends, and so did she. And so we set them up on social media. And my daughter's like, "Who is this?" I'm like, "You need to send her a text because you're going to like her." And she's like, "I don't know what to say to somebody I've never met before." And I'm like, so I kind of helped give her some prompts and some questions to ask. Next thing I knew, they were texting like crazy back and forth. And she was just thrilled to have a new friend. And what a good gift to give to your children, to your daughter at a time when she's not able to get out and see her friends in person, is yet another one that she can communicate with through social media. I can't imagine for my kids what this time would be like if they weren't able to stay connected through social media with their friends. I mean, I suppose they could do what we did and talk on the phone. Do you remember how awkward those phone calls were, though? I just remember like a friend calling and being like, "Hi, is Beth there?" And I'd get on the phone and be like, "So, what'd you do today?" I mean, those were the most awkward phone calls. It was always so much better in person. And anyway, I'm happy for my kids that they're able to stay connected with their friends, even though they can't go anywhere right now. So, I'm out of things to talk about. I don't know, there's not a whole lot going on around here. We're just staying up here on the hill. I've been staying inside a lot because it's been chilly and damp, but our weather's dried up and it looks like we're gonna get a little warmer in the next week. And my husband's he's putting a fence around the garden, and he wants to start a no-till method of gardening, which is supposed to be way better for your ground and also produce much healthier vegetables. So he's starting out with a fence all around so that he can let the chickens in there to do their thing in the wintertime. And that's about it. It's the life that people used to live, right? Before we were always busy going, and it hasn't been terrible. We don't personally know anybody right now that is sick or thinks that they're ill, and I certainly spend a lot of time praying for those that I hear of that do know people who are sick or ill, or who have family members that are in the medical field. But for us personally, we're just holding steady out here in the country, and life is as good as it can be. We're blessed. I have so many good things coming. I have lots of time to plan. I haven't done any designing. think maybe because there's always somebody next to me and I get distracted a lot. So no new designs flowing yet, but just a lot of planning and getting ready for future events, and it's been good. It's been good. I hope you're doing well. I hope that I know that you have plenty of stash. So I hope that you are enjoying going through the things that you have, and if you find yourself, needing a thread here or a piece of linen there, I encourage you to check out my stories on Instagram and see who my featured shop of the day is, and maybe send your order their way. If not, go order from your own local needlework shop. I just encourage you to, if you're able, support them and keep them alive during this time. And if you're not able, then just enjoy the wonderful stash that you have and the patterns that you have, and there was a reason why you bought the things that you have, and just remember them and enjoy them. And I hope you find lots of peace in the stitching. What would we ever do stuck at home without handwork? I don't know. I'd have to take up whittling, or I'd probably be baking. That's what I would be doing. I would be baking all of the things until I ran out of flour, and I would probably gain 20 pounds in 2 months. So thankful for stitching. It's going to help me keep my youthful figure. Stick around if you want to see some 30-second pauses all back to back with each other, and if not, go ahead and check out now and go find the next FlossTube video. And hopefully I will be back soon with more fun stuff and a pile of haul to show you. Until then, bye-bye. So what I realized that I forgot to say but was planning to is, as I'm converting the PDFs, I will have my shop open, but initially there's not going to be much in the way of PDFs in my shop. So I started out with the new releases, the exception being Consider the Lilies. I will not be offering that as a PDF right away. There are a lot of shops online, even just on Etsy right now, that have copies of the books for sale. And I know that there are a few other countries, not just the United States, that have them. So if you live internationally, I hope that airplane isn't super loud, sorry. You should be able to get your hands on the book. And I will be listing the book. I am also have some copies of the limited Sparrow book that I still have on hand, and if I still have them on hand when I'm able to start shipping, they'll be in my Etsy shop, so stick around. But as I convert charts to PDF, I'm going to do it two ways. One is, if somebody requests a specific chart, I will convert it. I'll put you on a list and I'll get to it faster than maybe if I was going about it my own pace. And otherwise, I am going to start back at the beginning, back when I first started designing. I'm going to start with my oldest designs and work my way forward in time. If I hit like number 1 in a series, then I will do the whole series at that time and put them together. And I'm even thinking of bundling some of those really early designs together into single PDFs. Maybe put 2 charts in a PDF, or 3, or a whole series. I'm not sure yet. So if you're curious, keep watching my shop and just see what pops up every day, because during the week, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing, is filling shop and distributor orders and populating my Etsy with PDFs. I think it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the process. The other thing I was going to say is, the only new release besides Consider the Lilies that will not be in my shop is A Dog's Last Will and Testament. And if you're not familiar with that design, it was actually not designed by me. It was designed by a friend of mine, an online friend of mine that I've never met in person, and he has his own Etsy shop. And so if you are interested in getting your hands on A Dog's Last Will and Testament, and the charts are out there for sale in shops, but if you prefer a PDF, or if you want to buy directly from the designer, I will have his shop link below, next to the link to my friend Dana's shop, the one who sent me the lovely sampler. I don't know. Hopefully that's all I forgot, but I guess I can do another cell phone video if I need to. So, okay.